Hey guys, welcome to the People's Bureau. Today we're going to do kind of a react to JD Vance, Just Dance Vance, taking over the Charlie Kirk show for his little political soapbox. Hopefully this is not the start of, well, it probably is going to be the start of some kind of political action that JD Vance and the Republicans are going to take against what they presume as left-wing ideology and violent left-wing people, etc. So we're just going to watch and react and get my opinion on this wonderful video. It's 2 hours long. We're going to skip around through it, but I kind of just wanted to show you some clips that I think are interesting.
I don't think that I'm alone in saying that Charlie was the smartest political operative I ever met. Everyone knew him as this fearless debater, this guy who would take the conservative message into hostile places and inspire younger generations to have courage. One thing that's hit a lot of those young Americans over the last week was how Charlie was there for them when others were not. When they were afraid to speak their minds, when they were afraid of what a professor would say, when they were afraid that they would be shouted down by their peers, Charlie was there, showing them that they could be courageous and that they could be bold.
Charlie was there for you. He is Saint Charlie. So, kind of just starting off, I mean, they're really setting the stage for the canonization of Charlie Kirk. They really want to make him this, all-loving, peaceful person that never did wrong, never, was always a great person. And it's like, oh, we want you to, Charlie Kirk was there to give you the talking points to talk and not get shouted down by, the liberal mind virus. It's like, but we know what Charlie Kirk was saying, okay? Charlie Kirk was saying he didn't want black pilots and that a couple of deaths a year or, whatever deaths a year were, the price we pay for the Second Amendment. He had just crazy talking points. And this idea that Charlie Kirk was some saint is like, it's such a weird, it's so weird. Like, one of the things that I'm going to talk a lot about during this react is like, what is the point of this? Why is JD Vance doing this? I mean, like, Charlie Kirk was a podcaster. He was a political influential person, yes, but he was a podcaster. And now they're just trying to use him as kind of the scapegoat to their crazy left-wing crackdown. So we'll see. We'll continue on, but I just wanted to start by saying, like, this is the whole beginning of the episode for Just Dance. It's all about Charlie Kirk, the Saint Charlie Kirk. They really want to shape that narrative because that gives them the ammunition to then say, we're going to go after people who are praising this poor soul, this innocent soul's death. Okay? No one deserves to die for their political opinions. Let me get that out there. Political violence is bad. But Charlie Kirk had some terrible takes. He had some absolutely racist and terrible takes. Like, this guy was not a good guy in that sense. He might have been a good father. He might have been a good person in his community. But he was not a positive member of the political discourse. Okay?
We have to talk about this incredibly destructive movement of left-wing extremism that has grown up over the last few years, and I believe is part of the reason why Charlie was killed by an assassin's bullet. We're going to talk about how to dismantle that and how to bring real unity that can only come when we tell the truth and everybody knows that they can speak their mind about the issues of the day without being cut down by a murderer's gun.
Real unity, telling the truth. JD Vance is the most chameleon, anti-truth person. Like, I was telling some friends this the other day. There is part of me that dislikes JD Vance more than Donald Trump. Like, for some reason, Donald Trump is like the godfather of political misinformation, and like, it's just like you kind of just expect that from him. And there's like this weird air of like not serious, like he's always like just joking, and that is disarming. And I think that is a key to his popularity, is this idea that, like, some people say, or like, I'm just joking, or he'll do this thing where he'll say something that's like, he's like, I'm the fittest man there's ever been, or like, I'm a stable genius. And he'll look at you, like he'll be on Joe Rogan and he'll say some stupid thing, and then he'll look at him, and then they'll both kind of chuckle. And it's like, it's almost like breaking the third wall. He's like looking at the camera and winking, like, like he knows what he's saying is ridiculous, kind of. And that's like Donald Trump's superpower. JD Vance does not have that. And he is so slimy and just polished and chameleon. And he's like, how many religions has he been? He's from Appalachia. He's a Silicon Valley. He's a venture capital. He's now a politician. It's like he just is weaving his way to the best narrative that he can find. And he's laying it out there for you. They are going to start going, well, they say they are. There's something about me that feels like this is kind of just going to blow over. Like the Harvard stuff, like Trump apparently now is like the admin is like releasing funds back to Harvard, and the tariff stuff might become illegal. Like there's something about the administration that's like, and it's like they're just doing something. They're doing everything they can, just like every little thing. And if they get any kind of pushback, they just drop it and move on to the next thing. And so, like, I really feel like they're going to try to use and squeeze as much juice out of this Charlie Kirk death as possible. But, like, it's probably, like, in my heart of hearts, it's probably just going to become a footnote of history. And, like, all this rhetoric about, like, attacking left-wing, like, think tanks and political organizations is just going to kind of blow over. Maybe. That's kind of what I feel. But J.D. Vance is an opportunist, okay? He's looking at this. He's like, okay, how do I ingratiate myself with the MAGA base? It's like, okay, I'm longtime friend of Charlie Kirk. Like, oh my God, it's just insane.
Vice President JD
Welcome back
Vance.
to Charlie
Joining
Kirk
me
Show,
now
guys.
is Stephen Miller, White House Deputy Chief
Stephen
of Staff,
Miller,
dear friend of mine,
the
and dear friend
gremlin
of Charlie Kirk.
the master,
before I get into the nitty-gritty of what I want to talk with Stephen about,
Grima
there's a lot of
Wormtongue
questions about the
of Trump,
investigation, where we are in the investigation. I
Canadian.
want to be respectful to the FBI's process, but just know that we are on top of this, and the entire administration is trying to do as much as possible to find everything that we can about what led to this, about how we got here, and of course, ultimately, how an assassin took Charlie's life. I wanted to zoom out with Stephen a little bit and talk about all of the ways that we're trying to figure out how to prevent this festering violence that you see on the far left from becoming even more and more mainstream. And
yeah, how are you going to prevent that, J.D. Vance? Are you going to incite right-wing people to, like, declare civil war and you're going to not denounce political violence? You're just going to say it's a left-wing problem. That's how you're going to really ratchet down the rhetoric, JD Vance. Let's see what Grima Wormtongue has to say about this shit. Jesus Christ, it pisses me off. I hate Stephen Miller too. He is such a slimy. Everyone in the Trump admin is just slimy. It's opportunist. It's just like crab bucket central. It's just slime. Ugh.
Yeah, before I do that, Stephen, I want to do this with every guest because you're a friend of Charlie's, and one of the things I'm hoping that people get out of this.
Okay, here we go. We're going to have some glazing of Charlie Kirk. Everyone has to be Charlie Kirk's best friend, and everyone has to say of how much of a saint Charlie Kirk was. Now, I think J.D. Vance is probably a sociopath, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe Stephen Miller is also a sociopath, so it doesn't really matter to them that he was his friend, but he was their friend, I think. They did know each other outside of, like, politics, but still, sociopaths. Okay, here we go. We're going to get Stephen Grima Wormtongue Miller to talk about the coordinated effort at dismantling the left-wing organizations. Let's listen.
The last message that Charlie sent me was, I think it was just the day before we lost him, which is that we need to have an organized strategy to go after the left-wing organizations that are promoting violence in this country. And I will write those words onto my heart and I will carry them out. If people ask me, what emotions I'm feeling right now, it's just something people say. I mean, you kind of know the answer. There's incredible sadness, but there's incredible anger. And the thing about anger is that unfocused anger or blind rage is not a productive emotion.
Right.
But focused anger, righteous anger, directed for a just cause is one of the most important agents of change in human history.
Charlie showed that. Amen.
And we are going
Charlie showed that. Amen. Your faith is so important to you, JD Vance. Amen to that, brother. I mean, it's just, oh my God.
to channel all of the anger that we have over the organized campaign that led to this assassination to uproot and dismantle these terrorist networks. So let me explain a little bit what that means. So
let me explain a little bit about what they're saying. They just said that the assassination was organized networks of people and a terrorist campaign. Okay, what that means, what he's saying is that somehow these left-leaning or left-wing groups, nonprofits, internet groups, etc., are somehow fomenting political violence against right-wing people. I mean, what is he talking about? We are playing by two separate rules here. Like the left has to denounce political violence and, you know, extremism on their side, where the right can just like go crazy. I don't like it when I go on TikTok or Instagram and I see tons of people just basically saying like, oh, I don't give a shit about Charlie Kirk, like I'm glad he's dead, or stuff like that. It's just like it's distasteful, okay? But there's a difference between the deputy chief of staff of the U.S. president, the White House deputy chief of staff, talking about dismantling his enemies, his political enemies, and some kid on TikTok who says that he doesn't care about Charlie Kirk's death. Okay? There's a difference. Like, Jesus Christ, there's a difference.
We've got 30 seconds, so be quick, Stephen.
And JD Vance just dominated Stephen Miller right there. He told him to shut up and make it 30 seconds, you dumb idiot.
The organized doxing campaigns, the organized riots, the organized street violence, the organized campaigns of dehumanization, vilification, posting people's addresses, combining that with messaging that's designed to trigger and incite violence, and the actual organized cells that carry out and facilitate the violence, it is a vast domestic terror movement. And with God as my witness, we are going to use every resource we have at the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and throughout this government to identify, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these networks and make America safe again for the American people. It will happen, and we will do it in Charlie's name.
So this brings me to why I think that this is possibly just all smokescreen. That's what Stephen Miller just said is what a lot of MAGATs like want to hear. They think that the left is violent, that it's all Antifa, they're pro-crime, etc., etc. They have all these opinions about the left. He's just telling them what they want to hear. And so in my head, it's like, when I hear that, I'm thinking, oh shit, that's kind of dangerous. I really don't want the federal government to go after political organizations like nonprofits and things. That sets a really bad precedent for the U.S. But it also could be that they're just not going to do that, because there's something about this administration that is just like complete taco. It's like all bluster and no substance. Like every time they get any kind of pushback, they just go on to the next thing, right? They are low-hanging fruit people. Like it's like, and so it would be kind of hard for them to do this, to really do this. And so we'll see. We'll see.
Thank you, Stephen. Don't go away. I'll be joined by a guest of Friends just in a few seconds. See you soon.
God, he's so bad at this too. It's like, Jesus Christ, JD Vance is really bad at this. I'm really bad at this because I'm just starting, but JD Vance is our vice president. God, I hate him.
Yeah, so one of the issues, Tucker, and I agree with you, that he would express disagreements with the administration on. There are two that jump out. Is one, Charlie was a hardliner on immigration. He wanted us to control our borders as much as possible. Yes. He wanted us to ramp up the deportations. I remember having conversations with Charlie where he would say, why aren't the deportations higher? Why aren't you doing more? And I would talk to him. But it wasn't, hey, I don't understand this, or I disagree with you, and therefore I'm going to blast you and assume that you're in bad faith. It's, I'm a free citizen. I love you guys. I supported you guys, and I'm going to use my platform to try to accomplish as much good as I possibly can. And I think that made him so
basically what you just saw was them attempting to say, I know we promised a lot of deportations. It's, it's not happening as fast as you want. And so, work with us. We're in good faith. We still want to deport people. We want to deport as much people as we can, but it's hard. So give us some time. Don't get too angry at us. The main thing I get from this is like, what is the point of this? Why is JD Vance doing this? This guy's just a podcaster. Like, I get it. He was very popular in the right-wing community, but why are you doing this? Like, why would the vice president of the United States be doing this? So I think we all know he's trying to get MAGA on his side for 2028. I don't know if that's going to be successful. That's all we got today, guys. Hopefully there was some insightful commentary. I know it's a little bit kind of all over the place. I'm still getting my footing on this, and so hopefully, I can edit this up to make something good. But that's it, guys. Bye.